Welcome to Same Spit Different Face TV. Well, my opinions is facts, and if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast, and it's free. So don't forget to spit on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification. Spit Squad, welcome to episode 18 of Same Spit Different Face. We about to talk about Young Thug Trial Day 105, and I'm finna give y'all a quick breakdown of everything that happened today. You won't miss a single thing. Okay, so Mr. Melnick, lawyer for Woody, is here to testify about the prosecutors lying to the judge. Mr. Melnick gave a brief proffer defending himself against Love's allegations of being in cahoots with Mr. Steele and Mr. Schwartz. He says he has enough documentation to prove he was only acting in accordance with what he and Woody agreed on. Steele is now questioning Melnick. Melnick says the DA's office definitely knew he represented Woody and he had conversations specifically with Ms. Love about representing Woody as a witness in his trial. He says he made it very clear and never indicated otherwise at any point. They're going over Melnick's emails and the timeline for communication. Melnick says when he emailed Ms. Love saying Woody was pleading the fifth, he got no response. Instead, the next day, the DA's office gave Woody immunity without Mr. Melnick knowledge. Afterward, in the emails, the prosecutor said they believed Woody indicated Melnick wasn't representing him. Okay, so let me give you guys a quick breakdown of that if you don't understand it. So basically, Melnick is Woody's initial lawyer and may still be his lawyer. So when a lawyer reached out to the prosecutors and said, hey, this is my client, from that point moving forward, the prosecutors are not supposed to reach out to that client anymore without reaching out to the lawyer first. So once he said that he was going to represent Woody, the prosecutor should have never spoke with Woody again without his lawyer present. And that right there is a violation of the court. Now, I've been talking to y'all in a lot of my videos about Brady violations. Something like this could kind of fall under a Brady violation. If not, it can definitely fall under misconduct. Now, back to reading from what happened in the court today. Ms. Love objects to a compound question. Judge, we're dealing with a bunch of lawyers. I think Melnick can handle that. Overruled. Melnick says that he has zero knowledge of what Ms. Love wrote in her motion for immunity being true, that Woody had contact with the defense and defendants. Scrunch now questioned Melnick about their contact with each other. Ms. Love being cooked on the objectives. Judge, I would hope every lawyer would be qualified to speak about what we're expected to do under the codes and ethics. I think Ms. Love's angle is that Melnick, not knowing about the state contacting Woody while he was represented, was Woody's fault, and Woody chose not to tell Melnick. So basically, that's the state trying to, play those type of games. But it's not even about that. Once the lawyer reaches out to you and say, hey, I'm representing this client, at that point, the other lawyer or the other counsel or the prosecutor no longer speaks with the client without his lawyer being present. Now, Melnick, I'm not going to talk about anything that I said to Mr. Copeland, period. Respond to Love trying to get into privileged conversation. Judge Whitaker just said, all right, y'all, we have been at this for over an hour and it's really not relevant to this, so wrap it up. Without any mention of Brady, it seems like the judge continues to think that this is an issue for the state bar and not for trial. Judge, my point in all this was just so that Mr. Melnick could feel like he cleared his name. 10-minute break, then moving to the next part, which is what Steele alleges omitted parts of the transcript. Doug Weinstein proffers that Miss Bumpus indicated directly to him that conversations between Woody, Halton, and Bumpus happened off the record, that Woody gave information about the Nut murder, and that there was potential Brady material. Judge wants to hear from Bumpus. So let me break this part down. Bumpus basically said that she heard some things. It's hearsay right now because the guy, Doug Weinstein, is the one telling the judge that. So in order for it not to be hearsay, the judge want to hear directly from Bumpus. What does she want to hear directly from Bumpus? She wants to hear that it was some off-the-record information or off-the-record things said that weren't included in the transcript. Also, that that Woody gave them information about the Nut murder that they didn't put into the transcript. Now, that's Brady material because with that information, Brian Steele could better represent Young Thug. Without that information, he can't better represent. So let's just say hypothetically, if Woody went in there and say, I know who killed Nut, his name is XYZ, it wasn't Young Thug. Well, that's relevant to the case because if they don't tell Brian Steele that information, Brian Steele can't go and examine or cross-examine Woody and say, hey, inside of this meeting, you told them you knew about who killed Nut. Who did you say that person was? How did you get this information? Do you know XYZ? So, to be honest, when I put my own perspective on it, I think a mistrial is honestly the only way for Young Thug to be able to beat this trial because it's a RICO. So basically all they want to know is that he had prior knowledge of the gang activities. They don't really care about the murder. Now the murder just adds to it, but they really trying to tie him into being in the gang. And if the jury can find him guilty of being in that gang, knowing about that gang, doing things to allegedly further that gang, then they can find him guilty, and there we go. But anyway, let's keep going with this trial, Young Thug trial date 105. Bumpus confirms of the meeting outside of the judge's presence with Woody, Helton, and herself. She says 4 deputies were there and a state's investigator. She says she doesn't remember if the court reporter was there also, but the transcript doesn't reflect the conversation. Mistrial. This is grounds for a mistrial, guys. Helton and Bumpus had a conversation in the hallway during a break in which Helton says, I know what y'all are trying to do. It's not gonna work, or something to that effect. Bumpus says, she said, I don't know what you are referring to, but we can talk to Woody. Bumpus confirms some of the aspect from the Steele-Weinstein affidavit that were missing from the transcript. Helton tells Woody that they know he didn't kill Nut, and she wouldn't let him say it on the stand and wouldn't go after Woody for perjury unless he says he killed Nut. That right there is totally unethical. She's not supposed to be able to say that. She's not supposed to be able to do that. The prosecutor's not supposed to do that. And also Brady material. They left that part out, which if you tell somebody, hey, if you say this on a stand, I'm going to go after you for perjury. Well, that person is not going to say that. You're not supposed to sway a witness in any way if you're a prosecutor. Now back to what happened in the court today. She confirms that the Deputy Brown directed the other deputies to turn off their cameras. Not sure if this is significant, but other aspects in the affidavit missing from the transcript. That's very significant, right? The reason why I believe that's significant because you're missing things from the actual conversation. So you're trying to hide that conversation. Now, back to the court. Attorney Matthews wanted to ask about if Glanville ever told Bumpus to keep the meeting secret, but the judge doesn't want to get into the issue of holding Steele in contempt. Defense has no more questions for Bumpus. I could be wrong, but don't see the huge Brady violation that Steele implied may have happened off transcript. A million things inappropriate about the meeting, though, and I do see the Brady. So, but hey, we can keep going. Woody never said he killed Nut at any point. To me, when Woody said off the record he had more information about the Infinity and it has something to do with someone that isn't on the case, is the only significant development from the off the record convo. The judge wanted Bumpus to clarify the whole Donovan Thomas murder / prosecutor for perjuries. Now they're back from lunch, and I'm reading y'all this as it happens, like it's in live time. Back from lunch, Ms. Love has put investigator Long on the stand who also a witness to the ex parte meeting. Investigator Long contradicts Bumpur's statement about Woody talking about the Infinity. He says Woody never mentioned an Infinity to Helder. Lawyers are now making their arguments now for what all of what happened today actually means on the case. Now, when you look at that situation, that's grounds for mistrial in my personal effect, because you have a lawyer saying that it did happen, and then you have a deputy saying that it didn't happen. But if they would have put it on the transcript, had a stenographer there, or if they wouldn't have turned their cameras off, then we would know exactly what he did say. So that's a violation of Young Thug's rights right there. Now, the other thing that I can see is, so when I look at this situation, I think Judge Glanville got duped. And I think I understand now why Judge Glanville was so upset, because Judge Glanville didn't know about the other meeting that happened where he wasn't present. So when Brian Steele was making all these different allegations, the Judge Glanville was actually under the assumption that Steele was saying something illegal happened inside of his meeting. And maybe Steele was alluding to that, but now it comes out that it was two separate meetings that was had. Lawyers are now making their arguments now for what all happened today actually means for the case. A lot of great arguments from Scott and Steele for sanctions on the state. The judge says she is definitely considering the issue of Brady violations and reconsidering the issue of disqualifying the prosecutors. Now, here's another thing we have to look at, right? When we talk about these Brady violations, or we talk about disqualifying the prosecutors, the judge basically didn't disqualify them at first because she thought that it was only a matter of, we want to disqualify them because we may have to call them to testify. And I'm not 100% sure how often prosecutors testify on cases they're on, but it may have happened before, and the judge may feel like the things that they're going to ask the prosecutor about is so minute that it won't even matter, so small that it won't even matter if they get on the court. But after hearing all this stuff, now she definitely have to think about disqualifying them from the case. Now, one of the latest things that happened is that Donald Trump said that Young Thug is being treated unfairly. Now, you have to understand that this is a play by Donald Trump. The play is that, yes, Young Thug is being treated unfairly, but he probably doesn't know anything about the case. Maybe somebody briefed him on it. Maybe, what's his name? Aiden Ross told him about the case before it actually came up, and basically when he told him about the case, he probably gave him a fill-in on what was happening in the Young Thug case. But anyway, the key to it is that Donald Trump is actually going through his own thing with the state of Georgia. So if he can make them look corrupt and, find that empathy and sympathy in the black community for the way that they treating Young Thug, well, in my personal opinion, maybe he's feeling like he can get the boil over or the roll over to what's going on with him. Now, if y'all enjoyed this breakdown of day 105 of Young Thug trial, just click the like and subscribe button. I'll be doing more of these. I'll also be bringing you more things in the culture. Once again, this is Fairplay 2333 of Same Spit, Different Face podcast. Well, my opinions is facts, and if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast. And if you do like my opinion, you can click the subscribe button, and you can follow me on all platforms. Peace. Check out my original Chicago hood movie in the end screen, No Time to Play Fair. Once again, this is Fairplay 2333 of Same Spit, Different Face podcast. Well, my opinions is facts, and if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast. And if you do like my opinions, you can hit the subscribe button and follow me on all platforms. Peace.